We have quorum? Okay. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the CLA Annual General Meeting. We're going to try to go through most of this fairly quick. I have some comments in a president's report that I'll make. We'll have a presentation from our treasurer about our finances and a couple of formalities by way of resolution. So this is a closed meeting. If there's any non-members that are still here, can I please ask you to briefly exit at this time? Only full members of the association are eligible to vote. There's a couple of votes that we'll have. Again, they're fairly standard resolutions that we present every year. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I, as the president, will serve as the chair. John Chagnon will serve as our recording secretary. We do have quorum, which is 50 members, and we've confirmed that. I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the agenda, which should be on the screen. And no. It's okay. Yeah. There you go. There we go. All right. I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the agenda. Can I have somebody bring a motion?
Emma. I got Sam and Emma.
All right. John's going to record these. If anyone's opposed, please raise your hand. It's approved. Great. We're going to put the minutes up. I'm going to ask for the 2023 AGM minutes from last fall to be approved. They've been shared in advance in the conference hub. Can somebody please move to have the 2023 minutes? Okay. Anyone opposed? Sonia Schickman's opposed? No? Okay. All right. She's getting her partnership draw withheld next week. The presentation of the financial statements.
Jessica and Stephanie, do you want to?
I'm going to call upon Jessica to report, our treasurer.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Nice to see everyone. Okay, so where do you?
Yeah, I think you just did it.
Okay, so there we go. All right, these are our financial statements. There were no concerns from our auditor. All proper accounting procedures were followed, which is good because lawyers aren't very good at math. Thank God we have John and his team. We set a budget early in this fiscal year and we've been monitoring it closely. We follow up on that monthly and adjust as needed. In several cases, we increased scholarships, regional initiatives, and sponsorship support once we noticed that our fiscal position was better than expected. We aim to break even or run a small loss every year. This year, we ended up with a surplus of just over $30,000. Membership and programming revenue remains strong with no increases to any membership or conference fees. Note that we have not increased the membership fees for 10 years. We do our best to manage expenses, but noting that inflation has increased, the cost of food and venues and running events has had an impact on several items, notably where we hold events, the venue, the catering, AV costs, website, and communications, but we have managed these expenses and increases well in order to avoid increasing our fees for membership or conferences. We are trying to run a number of initiatives with bursaries and sponsorship for recent calls. If you have any questions about any of that, feel free to speak to me or to John. We do have money in a low-risk GIC with the interest being reinvested annually. This helps sustain our program for our members and make sure that we are not in any financial risk. So at this time, what I would ask is for a motion to approve the financial statements.
I got Jessica, I got you first. Stephanie, is that okay? Second?
Okay, and next I will move to the appointment of our auditors. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you need to vote.
Oh,
Anyone
sorry.
Against?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to ask.
Anyone else
against?
Jonathan Rosenthal's again.
Anyone against?
Jonathan Rosenthal.
Noted. Okay, are we good?
Okay, no, yes.
Okay.
Motion.
Okay, motion carried. On to the appointment of our auditors. I will move that Penny Legion Chung LLP be reappointed auditors of the Criminal Lawyers Association for the fiscal year April 1st, 2024 to March 31st, 2025, and that the auditors be instructed to perform an audit at the fee set by the Board of Directors.
I'll get Stephanie second. Anyone against? You're good this time. Okay, thank you.
This time unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so I think that's it from me. Thank you all, and have a good conference.
All right. Well, now that we've done the exciting part of the meeting, so I wanted to share with everyone, I appreciate the food and the alcohol is just around the corner, but I wanted to share some remarks and give everybody a report, an update about things that have happened over the last year and some things on the horizon. So I want to start my report with some sobering figures. Before the pandemic, there were fewer than 8,000 persons in detention in Ontario's correctional facilities. This included those serving sentence, small percentage of people in detention on immigration or extradition holds, and those that were denied bail or perhaps who hadn't had their hearings at all. Within a few months, that number was reduced substantially, almost in half, to approximately 4,200 if my memory serves me correctly. Today, there are approximately 14,000 federal inmates in Canada. Those are all people who have been, by definition, found guilty and convicted to a sentence that requires them to serve it in the penitentiary. And there are nearly 11,000 people detained in Ontario today. Well over 9,000 of them remain presumptively innocent of the charges in relation to which they are detained. There have been some public figures around Twitter and other social media recently. It's actually higher than the numbers that you've seen there. Many of the people in custody have never even had their bail status determined yet. So despite these shocking figures, our elected officials continue to call for changes to our bail system that would make it tougher and make it take longer to obtain bail. At the same time, the number of unrepresented litigants in our courthouses has quadrupled. Today, over 30% of those accused in the Ontario Court of Justice are unrepresented. Why? Why are they unrepresented? Well, it's in large part because of, while the cost of food, housing, and every other aspect of life has seen a significant inflationary increase, the financial eligibility benchmarks to qualify for legal aid in this province has remained mostly frozen and flat for years. Today, it is nearly impossible for an out-of-custody accused who has full-time employment to fall within the financial eligibility guidelines for legal aid. But there is hope on the horizon. So, and no, it's not that many defense lawyers are likely to become lawyer judges at the Ontario Court of Appeal, as we've heard. It is rather the hope comes from the enormous efforts of the members of this organization who have been instrumental in advocating for positive change and bringing us to the precipice of some real meaningful improvements that I hope everybody will become aware of shortly. While change to get to where we ultimately need to go may come slowly, and too slowly for many of us, I am steadfastly optimistic that it is coming. First, Attorney General Downey has now publicly announced at the opening of the courts that significant changes to financial eligibility for legal aid are on the way. This is now public. It's no longer a matter that we've just simply been advocating for. It has been said by him publicly. Since the commencement of my term, I have advocated publicly and privately for enhancing financial eligibility, and many others have from our organization as well. And in fact, many others from the criminal justice system have done that. I'm going to continue to do so for the balance of my term, and I will continue to do what I can to make those changes which have been announced, to make them actually get implemented. Secondly, the Ontario Court of Justice is in the process of developing a number of protocols to address various practice issues, including protocols for the electronic filing of documents that would obviate the need to file hard copies. Also, there are a number of other protocols well underway likely to be rolled out in the next year that the CLA has been an instrumental part of developing. Although I'm not able to go into details more or share those details publicly, I am, as I said, optimistic. The point is that the respect of our views and the commitment to seeking our views and our input has never been higher. We have arrived at this juncture through the tireless efforts of our board and the many volunteers that populate our 24 committees. I want to publicly acknowledge and recognize the contributions of all of them, although time does not permit me to name them individually. With that said, I do want to individually acknowledge the efforts of our executive and of our executive director, John Chagnon, sitting to my left, who is undoubtedly the most important cog. The most important cog in our wheel and the one who keeps the whole operation running. Our executive members, our vice presidents, Jill Makepeace, Adam Weisberg, and Michelle Johal, the rest of our executive of Michael Davies, Stephanie DiGiuseppe, Jessica Greenwood, and Chris Saratin, you guys have all devoted countless hours chairing each and every one of our committees and spending so much of your free time working for this organization. From the bottom of my heart, I thank all of you for your efforts and contributions throughout the past year. I really couldn't have a better team around me for the second half of our term. I will end my remarks with optimism, and I choose to be optimistic. I am optimistic because it is plainly evident to me, based on all my frequent interactions with the primary leaders of all the other justice system stakeholders, that the reputation of the CLA within the community has never been higher. We are very much a part of the sausage-making process, and while the sausage still often tastes disgusting, being part of that small group that is recalibrating the recipe gives me real hope that the taste will get better and better by this time next year. Thanks, everybody, for your continued support. All right. So, we've done the auditors, we've done the president's report. Sorry, we're almost at the food and drink stage. But before that, actually, the real reason we're here, the most important reason, I think, of this part of the annual general meeting, is I want to present, we're going to present the Ricky Goldman Mensch Outstanding Member Award, and I believe I've been told that Ricky's spouse is here, Kathy. I haven't seen her, but I'm really glad that she is. Let me pause for a second and perhaps put on my glasses. It's hard. I got to choose if I can read or I can see. I don't really know how to do both at the same time. Ricky Goldman, of course, as many of you in this room know, was a longtime cherished member of the Criminal Lawyers Association. Since his untimely passing, we have created an award in his memory and in his honor that we give out to a worthy recipient every single year. And this year, the award has been awarded to Charles, or Chuck Barheit, as we all know him. It honors a CLA member that's made a significant legal impact on the community, on our legal community, for being an outstanding legal citizen. And nominations for this award were reviewed this past June. Congratulations, Chuck, on this award. I know you're here with members of your family, and it's great to see you and great to have this award presented to you. Come on up.
We like each other.
Thank you.
Take his glasses. You're an unruly group, you know. I was having a really irritating client day, you know, the kind where you wonder why in God's name you joined this business and what the hell you're doing in it. And then I got a text from Derek Gravzandi, who's actually taking pictures, congratulating me on winning the Ricky Goldman Mensch Award. My first thought was, what the hell's Derek talking about? And then, I'm going to put this down for a second because it's heavy. I don't want to break it. And then I started to think about Ricky. And I started to smile. And the smile is one of those ones that come up through your being. Because for those of you who didn't have the pleasure of hanging around with Ricky, practicing law with Ricky was fun. He may have been the best storyteller we have ever produced, and he was probably the most charming, roguish lawyer that I have ever seen. I have this image of Ricky with his mischievous smile, and I can't do justice to it, gesturing over and bringing whomever was around into his circle. And Ricky always took true delight in letting the air out of the pompous, so he was always busy doing that. And I think that was one of my favorite characteristics of Ricky. We often forget how competent Ricky was because he was so much fun to hang out with. Now, Ricky was always a supporter of the CLA, coming here every time. He kind of missed the lunches because we would all go out for Chinese and beer and we would poke fun at people. Some judges who would be sitting next door to us, but it was kind of fun for us. But I'm fairly sure, and I talked with Kathy earlier, I can now say for certain, Ricky never made an annual general meeting in his entire career. I didn't start out to be a mensch. I kind of leant towards being a curmudgeon or a shit disturber because that's more interesting. But I did receive many kindnesses from defense counsel, judges, and crowns. My theory was that you get by with little help from your friends. I only started to understand caring and compassion upon the birth of my son Dale and my daughter Robin. And it was becoming a grandfather to Desmond and Autumn and a partner to Mary Ellen that taught me the importance of empowering and enriching others. I thank the CLA for the award, and I really thank them for reminding me about Ricky. Have a good day, all, and go have a glass of wine.
Kathy, can you come up?
Sure.
Kathy, hold on.
Not going anywhere. In between, girl.
All right. Best part of the day. Almost near the end, guys. We have to have one more resolution, then the one before Jonathan Rosenthal's favorite one. But I'm going to ask it's on the screen, it's a confirmation of the actions of the outgoing board, or the current board, rather, from the last year. I'd like somebody to move that all the actions taken by the governing body since the last meeting be and the same are hereby ratified, approved, and confirmed. Furthermore, moved that all directors be indemnified and saved harmless out of the funds of the organization against any costs and expenses incurred respecting the execution of their office. Can somebody please move?
Motion, second. We got our honoree. Thank you.
Everyone's in favor, I assume. Anyone against?
And
John-
you can't
John,
do that.
You
No.
can't move for the motion and then vote against it. All right. Carried. Thank you. Can I just, before we break, can I just get everybody who's on our board, who's here, just to stand up, please? I'd like to acknowledge everybody who's on our board. It's a big group. Thank you, guys. As I said before, your work is so appreciated and immeasurable. If Before we close the meeting, if anyone has any questions, we do have time and an agenda item for Q&A. If anybody has any questions about any of the items we've discussed or any of the other business of the organization, please feel free. We do have a question at the back. There's microphones up here, if you don't mind. Well, I was just about to do that. No, it's actually Jonathan Rosenthal's motion, I think, to adjourn today's meeting. All right, Jonathan, you can't vote against. All right, everybody. Thank you, and see you across the hall.